Okay. Welcome back, everyone.
Now, for second session, it is my great honor to welcome Dr. Amala Jyoti ma'am to present on the topic Medical Cosmetology Opportunities and Challenges. Now, to render the welcome address, I would like to invite Dr. Veena Vijayan, Assistant Professor, Department of Shalyatantra, Ayurveda College, Coimbatore.
A very warm evening, all. Respected guests, our principals, sir, and all colleagues and friends. I'm very happy and honored the welcome for the session. First of all, I'm extremely welcome guest speaker Malaju, is my friend as well as my doctor for cosmetic therapy to today's session on better cosmetology opportunities and challenges. I'm sure this session will be so informative as our speaker is a high achiever in this field within a short span of time because of her do experiments without any sort of fear. I welcome you, Dr. Amala, expecting a beautiful session of some this series. And I welcome principal, Dr. Sir, all senior and junior doctors, and all the participants to this session. Welcome you all and for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. It is my great pleasure to welcome such a dynamic and enlightening speaker. Before handing over the session, I would like to take the privilege of introducing ma'am. She completed her UG from Amrita School of Ayurveda, Kollam, and did her PG from SDM College of Ayurveda, Udupi. She hails from a traditional Ayurvedic family and presented numerous papers in national and international seminars. She was the former faculty and course trainer of cosmetology wing in SDM College of Ayurveda. She is currently working as a co-founder and chief physician of Heal with Food, Trivandrum, Kerala. Now, I would like to hand over the session to ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you all for this nice introduction. Yes. Okay. So everyone, I welcome you all for this session on medical cosmetology, opportunities and challenges. See, everyone has their own definition of beauty. What I perceive beautiful may not be beautiful for the next person. It varies from different person to different person because beauty is a guna. Gunyate amrandate iti gunaha. So what we perceive because of that is the beauty. I hope I'm audible. Okay. So I would like to ask you, like, how many people find these the following set of women beautiful? We all know Aishwarya Roy is considered one among the most beautiful women in the world. You have Kuria Diop, who is the melanin goddess. We have Sai Pallavi, who had just shaken all the beauty norms and is known as the freckle beauty. And we have Lakshmi Agarwal, who's an acid attack survivor, and even she is beautiful in her own aspects. So, what exactly is beauty? So, the definition goes beauty is a combination of qualities such as shape, color, form that pleases the aesthetic senses, especially the sight. So, if it is pleasing to your eyes, we feel that it is beautiful. The physical beauty of an individual depends on three factors: the contours of the body, the texture of the skin, and the quality of your hair and nails. The important question is, why is there this much importance given to beauty care? We all know skin is the largest organ and it is the most visible part of our body. And healthy skin is an indicator of a healthy body. So if there is anything which is first reflected on the skin, we ourselves feel, okay, this is something which needs to have immediate attention, because having some spots in the skin or some discoloration on your skin is it actually reduces your self confidence. There will be a social isolation and etc. So usually beauty care always has a higher predominance in the current society. So there are various factors which affect the texture of the skin or the beauty of a person. So we have the uncontrollable factors, which is out of our hands, and we have the controllable factors, which actually helps us have a good skin or a healthy skin. So the uncontrollable factor is the natural aging. So we have Yeah. So we cannot control our aging process, but we can always age in a beautiful way, provided there are some people at the age of 50, they do not look an age older than 35. Whereas there are people of the age 35 who looks as if, they are nearing to their 50s. So it depends on our lifestyle, how we control our aging, and the environmental factors. Like if you are in a very sunny place, there will be more melanin production, your skin becomes drier. If there is a humid place, there is still the sebum glands get coagulated, there are higher chances of your skin now having excessive sweating, etc. So these are something which we cannot control. But there are controllable factors. There are a lot of food which is actually good for your skin, which maintains the elasticity of the skin, provides a good collagen to the skin, incorporates all the vitamins and minerals, which is very much necessary for your beauty or your entire lifestyle, entire health to be good. Also, lifestyles. There are certain factors like the use of cosmetics, maybe unhealthy practices like indulging in alcohol, smoking, etc. All these in due course gives you a very harmful effect, starting from the skin to all the organ system in your body. Ayurveda has very specifically given us a daily routine or the dinacharya, which if followed in the proper way gives you a healthy skin. So you have the first evacuation of your bowels. Once, if those people who know, like if there are a person who is very prone to getting acne, if you just look into their bowel history, they will either have a constipation or they'll have hard bowel. They will have difficulty in elimination of the bowel. Once your bowel is evacuated properly, you can actually notice that your skin becomes clearer and more healthy. Scraping tongue actually is very good for maintaining the oral hygiene. Brushing and gargling also helps you the same. It gives you a good breath. It gives you well-formed cheek muscles, and you will have a stronger jaw. Nasya, we can see in many of the cases of premature graying and all, Nasya is being administered. Abhyanka gives a moisture to the skin. It moisturizes the skin and it actually tones your skin nicely. Bath and shower maintains the luster of your skin and it helps in removing the dirt. We also have Udvartana, which is mobilizing the fat in our body and also improving the complexion of a person. And yoga and meditation, along with your exercises, is very much good for improving your circulation and giving you a properly manageable physique of yourself. But always, when we start off with the dinacharya, the first thing we learn all the theory, but how many of us practice dinacharya? We don't do abhyanga daily. We don't forget about getting in Brahma Muhurta. That is something out of question. Most of the people nowadays go to sleep at that time. We don't have all these, many people don't take bath daily. They don't have Shiro Abhyanga. They don't do all these things. Exercises even goes once or twice a week or once or twice in a month, or it's a big no. So people always find this dinacharya is a very good way, which is to maintain your health, but it is the hard way. So we always seek out for the easiest way. And easiest way for maintaining a good skin, at least to show that you have a good skin, is your cosmetics. So by definition, cosmetics are articles which is intended to be rubbed, poured, sprinkled or sprayed on, introduced into or otherwise applied to the human body for cleansing, beautifying, promoting your attractiveness or altering your appearance. So you have all sort of cosmetics coming from your head till your toes, which is helping you achieve all these functions. But if you look into the ingredients which go into the cosmetics, it is actually not a cosmetic, it is a cosmetics. It is a cause for various things we have, the conditions or the health conditions which we have. And being an Agada Tantra faculty or a postgraduate in Agada Tantra, we always consider this one of the Garavisha. So we know Garavisha acts in three ways. You have Ashu Chira Chiratara. So this is very much appreciated when it comes to cosmetics, because there are certain conditions where you have a instant reaction, which is very ashu. Like we have had cases when a person is applying a hair dye, within maybe an hour or so, they develop rashes, they develop severe burning sensations, or some people who apply some sort of face cream and all. Initially, they have a lot of side effects or maybe untoward reaction, which is not expected from that cosmetic. But that is not always, it's a very rare. So Ashu case is very rare. But we also have in long course, there are most of the cosmetics on the initial stage, initial application, maybe on the first 1 month or 2 months, they give a very good result. But what happens is once you stop it or once on prolonged usage, there is untoward skin reactions which is not being expected. So we have both the conditions, Ashu and Chira. And for this, the only option they had given was herbal cosmetics, which is very much high in demand. So if you look into the next time you get a herbal cosmetic, just have a glance at the ingredients. So if you can, though they claim it is 100% natural, you can just note that maybe the herbal extract which is going into this cosmetic is maybe less than 1% or maybe 2 to 3%, nothing more than that. Because anything herbal, which if it has to be stored for a longer period, they would need to have some maybe stabilizers, maybe some mild preservatives, which they say is the approved, government approved stabilizers, but it is not the case always. So we should understand what is the chemicals which goes into this. So if you see, the most common chemicals is paraben. If you have seen, like most of the organic products, they advertise paraben-free shampoo, paraben-free moisturizer. So you can note they have a lot of side effects, ranging from a small skin lesion to cancer. Even the use of talcum powder, there are certain studies which says that the continuous usage of the cosmetics have led to various cancers. Like lead is a very common ingredient in all the kajals. So we know there are various reactions, and if you just to give you the number of chemicals in the products which we use daily. So shampoo, the average number is 15, and on constant use, it is like irritation, possible eye damage, neurological damage. So these side effects do sound very sophisticated, which people, will it really happen just because we use a shampoo? Though we may not get all these side effects, but there are studies. All these has been published after various researches which has been conducted abroad, not in India, but almost all, because of the number of chemicals which has been added onto these cosmetics, it is very much hazardous to our body. And now we should understand whether the organic cosmetics, what they say, herbal cosmetics, are they really safe? Are we can we just use them without looking at or just referring about them a little bit more? So with this, actually many people think the herbal cosmetics are being marketed saying Ayurvedic cosmetics, and Ayurvedic people actually don't have a lot of insight into this cosmetology. So we should understand the importance of Ayurvedic medical cosmetology, the opportunities we have, and the challenges you are going to face once you enter into this field. So we'll start off with the challenges, because we should always understand what we have to face, then we have to overcome them and establish yourself. The first and most important thing is whether to refuse this or accept it as a part of Ayurveda. So when we usually start off as a cosmetology department, they're like, okay, is it something required for Ayurveda? Is it not something a beautician would do? So understanding or making the person understand and getting an acceptance is a very big challenge, because most of them look down upon the science, saying that, okay, this is something which people with no other job does it. But we have a very large potential for cosmetology. And almost every corner you go, there is an Ayurvedic clinic or a beauty clinic. So almost all the people, they have put their beauty parlors as herbal beauty clinic. And if you go into it, there are people, the procedures will be Shashtika Lepa, maybe Pindasveta, Patra Pindasveta for the healthy skin. So the terms also what they use is similar to your Ayurvedic product, Ayurvedic procedures. But still, if you look, the persons are not qualified doctors. They are just beauticians. They have just put the name. They get some idea from somewhere and they start their own branches. So what happens is the the name of Ayurvedic cosmetology is actually hampered when it is being done by a person who does not have any background on the skin, what lepa is to be used in what type of skin. We usually get a untoward reaction, and people say, see, Ayurvedic cosmetology is not that safe. You get a lot of reaction. But that is not the case when you understand the science and do it properly. Then another thing is understanding the type of skin. So usually what happens is when we get a patient for skin issues, the major problem we face is to find out what type of skin they have, because skin is very much sensitive, and you make a mistake in identifying the type of the skin. You give them a medicine. What happens is the next day that person may develop a pimple, and developing a pimple or a skin rash, maybe if you don't understand the prakriti of a person, you give them a therapy for the hair management. The hair loss, the number of hairs they lose per day can just double the next day. And anything which is related to cosmetic, the response of the patient will be very, very strong, because cosmetics, is not a necessity. It is an option people have. It's their choice to look beautiful. So they come, spend a lot of money, and if they get an untoward reaction, their response will be very hard. So what does it leave us? We'll be hesitant. We'll lose our confidence to see the next patient. We'll be, what happens? What if another untoward reaction happens? What if this person tells bad about me and I lose the name? See, obviously a doctor, when patients will come to the doctor when his previous patient says that, okay, this doctor is good. But when someone gives us a negative comment, it actually hampers our practice. So you will become hesitant to take up new cases. But that is just the challenges we have. But there is a lot of opportunities once you overcome this challenge. If you can get yourself accepted as a cosmetologist, you have a strong understanding of the skin types, what to be given for each type, and you have the confidence to treat patients. There is a lot of opportunities laying ahead of you. You can notice that most of the people have health conscious now. So with the everything available at the flick of your fingers due to Google, people now understand. See, even if you go to the supermarket, before buying anything, you can notice that people have a check at the ingredients, maybe their calories, their nutritional values. So this actually is a very good favor for us, because there is a very drastic shift between the people going to the modern or the synthetic cosmetics and people coming over to the herbal cosmetics. And with very little investment, see, to start a cosmetology clinic, obviously, if it has to be something very posh, you need to invest some money. But when you are having it at a very large small setup, if you just want to try, you see if it is picking up in your area, and then you can develop it later. You need very little investment to start off with your cosmetology clinic. So we'll just go into the subject proper. We all know the beauty care includes skin care, eye care, hair care, and food care. So I've divided the session as two, which is for healthy person. This comes under Swasthasya Swasthya Rakshana, and we have some of the case studies which has been done, like some of my case patient reports. I'm sharing it with you. So we'll see what is the requirement for a healthy person. So the first thing we get is a normal person comes to us with a normal skin, and they say, ma'am, I want something which is going to be making my skin healthy. Just let it remain healthier. As a preventive, as a treatment, they will need something. And there will be some people who will have excessively dry skin, and some people who will have excessively oily skin. So how do you understand whether the person is having a normal skin or not? So normal skin, it is usually understood that will not be any T area will not be 2x. The T area, if you can make out on the third picture on the skin types, you have your forehead coming down to your nose. So that is the T area. So if you ask them to take a tissue paper and take a swab from that. So if it is no, it's not. There is no oil at all. It goes to the dry skin. Normal skin usually will have adequate oil and it will not be too oily. If it is too oily, the entire tissue would be soaked. So this is how you understand the skin type. But see, this is just a theory. You might need to see around a lot of people to understand or for you to come to the correct understanding. So you can start off next time you see a person, try to assess whether their skin type, what the skin type is, and under which category it falls into. And the next complaint we always say is someone people want to improve their skin tone, and acne is one very big factor. Most of the people maybe changing starting from the adolescence. When they start getting acne, you have different types of acne. They are actually very much affecting a person's mental status. Some people usually they come and cry saying that, you know, my face is very bad, I want to get rid of the acne. So you have different types of acne. You have the white heads, you have the black heads, and once maybe you are progressing towards your late 30s, I mean early 30s from now, considering our lifestyle, you have the wrinkles also. So these are some of the common things which we may face once we start up a cosmetic clinic. So we'll just see what we can do for each type of people. So the normal healthy skincare routine, at least maybe once a week you can start. You can have your cleansing. You can use any skin toner. Maybe you can use rose water. You get skin toners available, or you can just make a cucumber juice or something. Cleanse your skin. You can give a massage, maybe 2 minutes with the toner only. You can apply a face pack. You can scrub or give a fermentation after the face pack. And once it is done, you can moisturize it. We'll see each step one by one. And there is also a different steps of the directions of giving a face massage. It has to be ocular movement near to your eyes. It should be outward from your nasal. It should be round and round around your lips. And the cheeks, it should go from downward to upward. This forehead area also from the top bottom, then to the side. So there are different procedures which is included, and the directions where the facial massage has to be done. So I'll explain one of a very common LEPA which has given lot of results in managing a normal skin and in a dry skin. So Shastika LEPA is one very classical preparation. We all use it, but this is a variation of the normal Shastika LEPA, where we all usually for the Shastika Shali Pindasvita, we make Shastika, we cook Shastika in Balamulakwata. But when it comes to cosmetology, the kashaya you use is your choice. We usually take some Varniya kashaya like Mahamanjishtadi kashaya, or you can make a kashaya based on your combination. Like you can add some Manjishta, Rakta Chantana, turmeric, Lodra, whatever you feel is good for you and is available for you, and it is coming in your budget. You can take a combination of that, prepare the kashaya, and use that kashaya for cooking the Shastika LEPA. And once the Shastika LEPA is completely cooked, you make it into, either you can make it into a potli, very small potli, and you can do that as a massage, or you can make it into a fine paste. You can grind it and use that paste as a face pack. So we used to give, this is one of our, Shastika LEPA is one of our main attractions in the bridal packs, because it is on 2 or 3 continuous applications, facial procedures, you get a very nice glow on your skin. But it is a very big no for anyone of oily skin type, because if you have oily skin, you apply Shastika LEPA, the next day you will get maybe big pimples, which is going to be suppurative, because Shastika by its nature is increasing your snigdhata, and it is a Brahmana LEPA. So we have to understand the skin type. This works very good for dry skin people and for normal skin people. So for oily skin people, you will have to choose the different types of medium. So here I have given Shastika LEPA is one medium which I have mentioned. The second one is Yava. Yava also is Varniya. It is not that snigdha as Shastika. So this is something which we can give for a person of oily skin. But there are still some people who are very oily, like their face will always have pimples. You can make out that it will be always glowing due to the excessive oil secretion. So for them, we have to take something with the Churna LEPA. So you can take a combination of any face pack, and you can prepare your own face pack also. And you can mix it maybe with rose water. Maybe you can use Manjishtadi Kashaya, or maybe you can use some fruit juices, make it into a paste and apply it. And once all these LEPAs, except for egg LEPA, all these LEPA, it has to be applied. It should not be let dry. Once you feel that it is getting dried from the edges, you have to start removing the lepa, because if it's getting drier, your skin becomes still more ruksha, drier. So that will actually not give you the purpose of having the proper lepa. Egg lepa is another thing which we have found very effective in practice, because those who like non-vegetarians would know, if the egg white falls on your hands, maybe in a couple of minutes you feel that it gets stiff there, it gets hard. So we wanted something like, when for patients who have pustular acne, these pustules break and they have a very scar, which is actually like a depression on their faces. So this egg lepa actually helps them tighten the skin. So for tightening packs, for wrinkles, egg lepa is very good. So we use some drugs, we make a face pack combination. We add egg white to it, make a paste on it, and then apply it. So egg lepa is the only thing where you can leave it for drying, because we actually need the tightening of the skin. So this is the basis for which, by which you can prepare a lepa. And the kashaya or the powder, so let's for churna lepa. Some of the commonly used drugs, you can have the Varanya Mahagana, Kushtagna Gana. So for people who have skin diseases, you can have Kushtagna Gana. If it is associated with itching, you can have Kandugna or Udarta Prashamana. And for some people who usually use a lot of cosmetics, we can actually give them Vishakna Gana. So, and one more thing is, for people who continuously use cosmetics, they say, ma'am, as a part of their job, see those who are like air hostess, those who work in very hi-fi hotels, resorts, their presentation, their job requires the use of these cosmetics. So for them, the first question they ask is, what should we do? Because avoiding cosmetics is not an option. So what we suggest is, Agatha says, like, all the Visha conditions, ghee is considered to be better. So we always ask them, take a little bit ghee, apply it on the face, wash it off with some churna. Like I usually prepare, I have my own combination of face scrub, or we can have Siddhartha Kasnana Churna is very good. Nirmal bath powder of SDT Pharmacy is very good. Those are actually very good. So you can ask them to wash their face daily once they remove the cosmetic. Then another one of the most common complaint we get is stretch marks. So you will have stretch marks happening twice in your life, for females during pregnancy. And another common occurrence is when you lose your weight. So once you get it, okay, there are a lot of treatments. They say you can apply Navanita with Chandana. There are various lepa which is mentioned, but see, a person who is willing to lose weight, they will be determined. So whenever someone comes to me for a weight loss plan, the first thing I ask them is moisturize their skin daily. And any moisturizer with cocoa butter is found very effective, because it keeps the skin hydrated for a longer period. And for pregnancy, before they start showing, like from the 3rd month onwards, we ask them to apply Dhanvantaram Thailam. So those who continuously apply daily Dhanvantaram Thailam, they don't even get a single stretch mark. And for weight loss, daily moisturizing with weekly once oil massage helps you control the stretch marks. And when it comes to skin, I told you, most of the common things we have is acne and improving the complexion, melasma, etc. Hair care is gaining a lot of popularity right now. There are a lot of people starting from the very smaller age, young age, till the old people. They come for hair issues. So females, for them, most of them want a very long, thick hair, or the wavy people want a silky, smooth hair. And some people, like most of them, have the condition of dandruff. So they also want to have some treatment for that. When it comes to males, the most important thing is they don't want this. They want to control the androgenic pattern of balding. They want to have a good thick hair. And now another current trend is having a thick beard. So if you look into some like the online shopping sites, you can notice that a lot of beard oils have come into market. And they are priced very high, and they are nothing but the mixture of maybe 9 or 10 oils, starting from coconut oil, castor oil, almond oil, etc., which is priced very high. And but there is a lot of demand for beard oil also. That is healthy people. The other ones what we get is premature graying, then alopecia areata, excessive hair fall, and there is also like when you have PCOD issues, gynec issues, you have excessive hair growth on the skin, and as I told you, androgenic pattern of balding. So if you just look into the hair growth conditions of this, for a hair proper or nice healthy hair growth, what I usually suggest is daily head bath, daily application of oil, and daily head bath. And application of oil, you can have Nilibringyadi Taila, then Chembaratyadi, then Kesha Krishnekarna. There are so many oils. We can also prepare our own oils also. See, usually we have to understand the prakriti of a person. If it's a kapha prakriti person, it's always better to prepare oil with some tikshna dravyas, and if it is for other people, it is always better to have something cooling drugs. Like you want to have a person who always have recurrent allergies, respiratory issues, and if they come saying that they want to have a good hair oil, it's always better you can just take some kalka, make a kalka out of black jeera, maybe curry leaves and henna leaves, something which is very ushna, and make that samskara with the coconut oil and then prepare a hair oil. Otherwise, you can have small onions,